What is the best time of day to work out? The short answer is that there's not enough research to suggest when the optimal time is for you to work out. Okay, so it is, as a response to that, it's about just working out when you can fit it in, as long as you get it in, right? Just tick the boxes, get the workouts in, and be consistent. That's all I ask for, at least. Okay. When it comes to, in my experience, if I want to optimize my workouts, I would look at loading the carbs or the carbohydrate consumption that I take on a strength program that I'm doing. As an example, I would put as much necessary carbohydrates into my body to fuel my leg session or deadlift session, whatever it's going to be. But in order to get the most out of that, I'd have to have my session in the evening, okay, or the late afternoon or mid-afternoon or something like that. As an example, if I get in two or three meals, carbohydrate and protein focused meals into the body before I do deadlifts and do a heavy deadlift session, I'm going to be not looking back and thinking I should have maybe consumed a bit more food. It's going to help me to get the most out of my lifts that I do. Whereas if I try and do a fasted workout on a morning, as an example, so a 6 a.m. deadlift session is like a no-go for me, because I would be nowhere near as efficient with the lifts that I do in the early morning as opposed to the evening, okay? And there's a way to counteract that, and that's having the carbohydrates the night before or the day before in advance, and just loading up a specific amount of carbohydrates into the body in advance. It may help for you to be fueled for that session in particular. But in my experience, mentally, physically, it will help if I did a morning deadlift session, if I've carved up the day before. But my mindset is like, I'm waking up, I'm not fully awake and immersed and ready to tackle the session. I've been in situations where I could only fit workouts into my schedule in the morning. But I know firsthand over the years that I function better when I've put a couple of meals into my body at least, and I train around 2, 3, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Any time after that is fine, just not too late. So from a strength and performance standpoint, that is the best time for me to personally work out. It applies to a lot of people in a similar way as well. But just see what works for you. Everyone's a bit different with how they respond as well. I know a lot of people who actually function a lot better and perform better on the actual morning. I don't know how they do it. It's definitely in terms of if they are loading up carbohydrates beforehand, then that could be a factor as well. Or maybe people are just more awake on the morning as opposed to the evening, depending on their day-to-day schedule as well. So keeping it simple, that's your answer to that. Just do what works for you and your schedule, and understand on trying to find a way and how you can optimize that as well.